welcome all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. We are continuing with our story of Polonia in Chicago, and our guest is Richard Owsiany, the president of Polish Museum in America. Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you for having me on for this wonderful program.
Richard, so I'm very interested myself, how looks the structure of Polonia right now in Chicago? So how many people recognize themselves as Poles or as Polish Americans? And do they speak Polish? Do they want to still to preserve their Polish culture, or more to sink into the American society?
Well, I think Chicago Polonia, has been recognized, for many, many years as the largest concentration of Poles outside of Warsaw. The last census, counted close to 1 million people who recognize themselves as being Polish in Illinois, and mostly concentrated in the northeast corner of Illinois, where Chicago's located. It still maintains that status as a high concentration of Poles, and as you can drive through Chicago, you'll find Polish businesses all over the place. You'll find Polish institutions that are recognizable, such as the Polish Museum. If you're driving in from O'Hare to downtown, you'll see our building. Or if you're driving from downtown out to the northwest suburbs, you'll see the Polish Roman Catholic Union and the Polish Museum of America building prominently from the Kennedy Expressway. So Chicago Polonia, I think, like any community, has fragments. You've got people who've been here, who came in the last 20 years, 30 years. You've got Poles, Polish Americans who are second, third, fourth, fifth generation, who still have some sort of interest in their background. What's interesting in Chicago, we talk about preserving our culture and preserving our community. We have probably the most Polish schools, Saturday Polish schools in the country. We have in the Chicago metropolitan area, we have 52 Polish schools, including parts in Indiana and parts in southern Wisconsin.
Wow, 52! That's so much.
And over 20,000 children attending at school every Saturday.
Oh, perfect.
So it's when I was going to Polish school, there were a handful. When I was a child, there were 3, 4 Polish schools. Today, there's an explosion, and it's wonderful, because this is the next generation of kids who maintain their language, learn about Polish culture, heritage, history, grammar, and are able to take that with them, and that's very important. It's very important. I'm a product of the Polish Saturday school system, and they molded me and created my character and how I approach my Polishness and what I do in terms of trying to make a contribution to the Polish community. And the same thing happens today. The opportunity for kids in Polish schools is tremendous, and what the schools do today is wonderful. For everything from konkursy, when they have contests between schools on history or literature, whether they do field trips to the Polish Museum or they do trips to Poland. And the most favorable thing is always the studniówka. I've been to the studniówki over the past several years, and these kids love it. It's unbelievable to see 500 graduates, from the Polish schools come together and celebrate their accomplishment of being able to graduate.
So, as I understand, you also dance Polones on studniówka, which is a must in Poland, at least. Always a challenge for every student to learn it quickly, even though it's not a very hard dance. But do you dance? Have you danced Polones, or it's not a part of it?
Well, it is. I mean, one of the things that I do, I also was in the Polish folk dance group.
Okay, so you were more advanced.
So I was a little bit advanced, but at the studniówki they do the Polonaise, and all the students get up. It's just wonderful to see the engagement of students in their heritage, and they're having fun, they're enjoying it. And when I've gone to some of these konkursy, and they talk about, for example, they do I went to one Polish school last year, and they did, 2 years ago, pardon me, before COVID, and they did a history contest, and it's amazing how these students know their history, and it's a testament to the Polish schools of how they encourage and what they teach the kids so that they remember the stuff. And going to this concourse, I learned things that I didn't know about. So it's really refreshing to see that the students take this seriously, and it's an important element in preserving our Polonia.
Well, sounds amazing, and probably such things can only happen in US that is still so alive, the Polonia. And the other question is, just to wrap up this episode, is it mostly the new generation of old immigration, or do you still see new waves of immigration to Chicago, of like new Poles, basically? How does it look?
Yeah, I mean, immigration obviously has changed a lot over the last, 25 to 30 years, especially since, with the founding of the European Union. So, not as many Poles are coming to the United States as we had in the past. But, in the last 20 years, if you drive around Chicago, if you look, even you look in the Polish papers, you've got number of Polish periodicals that come out every week. The number of Polish institutions that have propped up over the last 20 years, everything from small little groups to big groups who are raising money for various Polish causes. So yeah, no, I think Polonia is as strong as it was previously. Obviously a new generation of Poles are here who are leading the push to make sure that Polonia maintains its status as it has. The older Polonia, obviously still that you can go to many organizational meetings or events and still see older Polonia coming to them and supporting them. So it's a nice mix of older Polonia, younger Polonia, Poles, Polish Americans who find the time to help and make sure that Polonia is stronger than ever.
Congratulations for this, and I do hope that this Polish voice in US will be strong, will be heard by also politicians, and you have a huge power in your hands. And thank you for also leading the Polish Museum of America. And to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily, if you are interested, come watch, see, read the books, because they have huge library, and that's the source of Polish culture there in Chicago. And thank you for watching.